I am now in Rome, in Italy, by this beautiful and very interesting place called La Porta Magica or La Porta Alchemica, which translated means the magic door or the alchemical door. I don't know if you can see it behind me, just there. Beautiful. And it inspired me to talk a little bit about the subject of alchemy. Before doing that though, since I'm here, I think it's fair that I give a brief introduction of this place. I am no historian, so if you want a better version and more detailed version of the history of this place, you better check other sources. But to make the long story short, this door was part of a huge mansion that belonged to a very rich man, to a noble man that had great interest and was very passionate about all esoterical subjects and alchemy as well, of course. So since he could afford it, in his mansion he also built a big alchemical lab, and he had a garden with all the different herbs that were used in alchemy. And one day there was this man wandering around, sort of like half a beggar, you know, looking for strange herbs. And when this noble man found out that this guy was an alchemist, he decided to give him shelter by the mansion and allowed him to use the alchemical lab and to collect all the herbs that he needed from the garden. And so he did. And after a few days, he left in the middle of the night without saying anything, without saying goodbye, and as a sign of gratitude and as a sign of his accomplishment and of his success of this alchemical transformation from lead to gold, also with the help of some of the herbs that he found in the garden, he left on the table of the alchemical lab some gold nuggets of this alchemical gold, transformed from lead. And along with these gold nuggets, he also left a message, an encrypted message with symbols that was the recipe, the recipe on how to do it, how to transform the lead to gold following this alchemical formula, this alchemical process. But since this message was, as I mentioned, encrypted, and the nobleman of this mansion didn't manage to understand it, he decided to have these symbols carved around this door with the hope that future generations will understand it and eventually will manage to finally accomplish this alchemical transformation from lead to gold. Now, this is the story of this place. The symbols are there, they are around the door, you can see them. But nowadays, in the West, when we think of an alchemist, who do we think of? We think of someone like that, right? We think of a man, probably an old man, probably with a beard, you know, like half a beggar, going around, you know, looking for strange herbs or other strange things and cooking or some strange compounds. And when we think of alchemy, what do we think of in the West? Well, we would think of something that, first of all, does not exist anymore. Does not exist anymore. Why? Well, because we think of alchemy as we would think of alchemy as an ancestor of more modern subjects such as chemistry and pharmacology. And while this is true in part, it is also fair to say that alchemy had also other reasons to be and had other goals, which is the reason why alchemy managed to survive until today. And there are still nowadays places in the world where alchemy is practiced. And it's practiced with, different reasons, with different goals. One of the reasons why alchemy is practiced is it's practiced by these alchemists in order to understand through the alchemical process and by the final result of it, to understand the level of their internal development, and let's say how much they manage to, expand their consciousness. Let's say it like that. Because these alchemical compounds that they cook, they are nothing but a reflection of their inner development. So if we take a number of alchemists and everyone has the exact same ingredients and they're all cooking them by following the same, recipe, at the end of the process, every one of them will have a different result because it reflects their level of inner development. But how is it possible? Imagine like the same thing done with chefs in the kitchen. Everyone has the same ingredients and they're all cooking the same dish, but at the end each one will taste differently. Why? Because you might say one chef cooked with love, while another didn't. Although love it's not something that is physical. It's not a matter, right? So the very same way, these alchemists, when they cook these alchemical compounds through some special techniques and methods, they connect to these alchemical compounds through special breathings, through special meditations. They connect to this alchemical compound that they're cooking, and they literally pour a piece of themselves in the compound, a piece of their spirit, or a drop of their consciousness, let's say, in the compound, which at the end is what makes the compound different, and the reason why everyone gets a different result, and the reason why then they do it, so that they are able to understand their level of development. So this is, how to say, a secret ingredient of alchemy. And if while in the West we would think of alchemy of something like this, if you are Chinese, or if you come from a background of Chinese practices, you would also think of alchemy as internal alchemy. So alchemy done inside the body through special, of course, processes, through special techniques and methods. But at the end, internal alchemy and external alchemy, they mirror each other. Yeah, they're just a reflection of each other. So the ingredients are always the same, and all these methods that you have are like in external alchemies. They're just different recipes. But if the most important ingredient is missing, these recipes will not work. So what is this secret ingredient, let's say? It is your mind, it is your consciousness, and it is the qualities of your mind. So when you practice, remember that. And instead of focusing just on the technique, focus on developing the right qualities of mind and consciousness that then you put and you pour inside your alchemical compound, inside your cauldron.